Hey there, Christopher Thunder in the World's Dirtiest Workshop. I'm here to talk about generic USB flash drives. Today we're going to talk about thumb drives, more specifically this one. When you are purchasing thumb drives online, you can get all kinds of things. You can get small ones, you can get big ones, you can get half terabyte, you can get a full terabyte, you can get 2 terabytes on a thumb drive. Now, that's a lot. But one of the things you need to understand is that thumb drives come in all shapes and sizes, but it's really what's inside that matters. The little tiny chip that's in this little space inside this plastic holder, which could be no bigger than your pinky nail, okay? Now, 1 terabyte is a lot. You can fill up that in maybe a year with some of your favorite videos that you've taken at home. You can get 2 terabytes, and that might take you a little longer. My video library, as it stands now, as a beginning YouTuber, can fill up about 4 terabytes, that's a buttload of space. But I can keep that here, between my fingers, literally here. That's a lot of space. So, I like to buy my thumb drives at reputable retailers such as Office Max, Office Depot, that kind of thing. Or I'll buy them online at Amazon using the SanDisk company's products for my storage. And those thumb drives are fast. They're very reliable. The moment you plug them in, they're 100%. Now, what about drives that are not 100%? Okay, so this is a 1 terabyte flash drive. My wife got it as a gift. And it looks something like this. Now, I immediately started copying about 300 gigabytes of space onto this thumb drive. And the thumb drive is tiny. It's a little silver thumb drive on a keychain. It's really small, just like any other. And it began to copy. Now, I would have expected that 300 gigabytes to copy in, I don't know, less than an hour, right? Fairly quick for a 10-year-old machine that I have. But my machine is cranked up to the max, so to speak. It is optimized. Being a Mac, it's free of antivirusware that might be slowing it down. It's fast for a 10-year-old machine. It's fast for a modern machine because it doesn't have any of that junk that's on my computer that you normally get. But despite its speed, it took all day to copy that 300 gigabytes onto that thumb drive. And it was well into the night before it finished. Now, what happened? Well, all the files are there, and the thumb drive seems to come up as 1 terabyte. But the moment you start opening the files, you're going to find that you get an error instead of what you're expecting. And all that being said, you're not going to be able to play a video that you've copied. Why? Well, chips like these, which are super cheap, this is $10 USD, that's about half the price of a SanDisk thumb drive. That thumb drive is full of holes, right? So this is full of holes, where your SanDisk is not. They're logical holes. They're imperfections in the chip. These chips might be bought in bulk, identified as not quite perfect by the industry, and then they're sold in bulk to another company that just shoves them onto a thumb drive and cranks them out at a very low price. Okay, it's a gift. It's $10, fine, what do you do? Well, the trick is to reformat the thumb drive on your Mac OS or IBM PC. I have both, and I know how it works. On an IBM PC, it's as simple as format. You find a Windows app that is a disk utility, and you click on the format button, and it formats the disk. That will overwrite the logical errors, and you'll be able to use that thumb drive to its most. It may not be a 1 terabyte, it might be 99.999% of 1 terabyte, but there's probably a small amount of space that's bad, and that's flagged as bad so your computer won't use those bad spaces. On my Mac over here, I had to do the same thing. The first thing I did was I ran a thumb drive check, and it came up with all kinds of weird errors that I did not expect. And then I had to erase the thumb drive, and then I had to rerun a check. And when I did that, I came up with a clean report. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to recopy that 300 gigabytes onto this thumb drive and see how it goes. And I'm going to be checking videos one at a time, opening them up and seeing whether or not I can play them back. Now, these thumb drives, yes, they are very slow. They're probably 50% or less of what a SanDisk thumb drive is in terms of their copying speed. But you can still plug it into your Mac and play a video on it. It's just really slow comparatively speaking. Something like a 5 or a 10-year-old thumb drive. Slow, really slow, but good enough for most people. What I need is thumb drives that allow me to zip 10 or 20 gigabytes around in 10 minutes. That's what I need. Fast, very high copying speeds, so I can copy and back up my videos. You're not going to get that with this. It's going to take a while. These chips aren't optimized for speed. They don't run their own little system to make sure that the data is copied at maximum rates. One of the things I learned about thumb drives from a company that I promised I would never talk about what I did there is that these are organized in certain internal ways that allow them to store data very, very quickly. Not like the old days when these things were made like an old floppy disk. These things can be optimized electronically to store a whole lot of stuff in 1/10 the time of what you might remember, from 10 years ago. Pretty fancy stuff. Are you going to find that on this? No. It might run like an old floppy disk, or something of that nature, or an old hard disk. It's going to be slow. It's going to use old technology to store your data. So that's what you can expect from this. When you buy it, remember, it's going to be full of holes. You're going to have to format it. You're going to have to inspect it before you start copying to it. Because if you don't, and you copy your video files onto this thumb drive, you're going to open them up and they're not going to play back. It's going to be bad. But be smart, be wise, be like me, Christopher Thunder, and erase the thumb drive and then format the thumb drive or check it for errors and repair it. That's Mac OS terms. And that'll get you a fully functioning low-speed thumb drive. I want to thank you for watching the World's Dirtiest Workshop and Rider of the Storm. This is Christopher Thunder saying bye-bye.